Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Language Arts Gallery. Today, we're going to cover Week 6, Lesson 2 of our English for Academic Purposes course. And today, we're going to talk about persuasive essays. We're going to actually walk through the process of drafting a persuasive essay. So if you haven't already, please remember to subscribe to my channel so you can get more English for academic purposes and academic writing videos. So let's get started.
Okay, so let's go ahead and jump into our lesson on drafting a persuasive essay. So we're going to begin by taking a look at this example of a persuasive essay. Okay, so first we want to think about what's the author's thesis statement, the reason that the author gives in support of this thesis, does the author address any counterarguments, and in the conclusion, what does the author ask the audience to do? So, first of all, we remember that our thesis statement is often found in the last sentence of our introductory paragraph. So, if I look here, I see students need to incorporate regular physical activity into their daily school routine in order to boost their mental well-being. So, that's the author's thesis statement. Now, I'm looking for 3 reasons the author gives in support of that thesis. Now, I know that each body paragraph is going to represent one big reason in support of that thesis statement. Now, where can I find that reason? In the first sentence. That first sentence is called the topic sentence. So here are the author's 3 reasons why students should incorporate physical exercise into their school routine to boost their mental well-being. The first is that exercise is an excellent way to combat stress. The second is that it's a powerful tool for managing anxiety. And the third is that it's been shown to alleviate symptoms of depression. So here, the author's got 3 reasons that support the thesis statement. Does the author address any counter-arguments? As I look through, I see that the author does not include any counter-arguments. But as we go through this essay, we're going to add counter-arguments in. Now, remember, the important thing about a persuasive essay, often the thing that differentiates it from an opinion essay, is that the persuasive essay asks the audience to take action. Okay, so you're asking the audience to do something. Okay, now I want to look in the conclusion where the author asks the audience to do something. If I come down here, I see he says, contact a local school administrator and ask that 60 minutes of rigorous physical exercise be included in a student's daily timetable. Okay, so that is the call to action that this author is using. So, how do you think an argumentative or a persuasive essay is different from an opinion essay? Well, I told you, opinion essays are about me and persuasive essays are about you. I want you, the audience, to do something. In the conclusion, I'm calling you to act. Okay, and you want to be specific with your call to action. So let's go over the structure of a persuasive essay. It's very, very similar to an opinion essay. Our introduction, we're going to hook the reader. We're going to give some background information if necessary. We're going to introduce our roadmap or our thesis map, telling those 3 main points we're going to cover. And we're going to give our thesis statement. Each body paragraph is going to represent one main point in support of the thesis statement. And I'm going to provide evidence that supports each of those main points. Finally, in the conclusion, I'm going to signal the end of my writing, or I'm going to signpost. I'm going to summarize, restate the thesis, and the thing that makes my persuasive essay different, I'm going to call the audience to act. That's in the last paragraph, in the conclusion. Okay? Otherwise, this is very similar to an opinion essay. Now, we want to support our argument because remember, we want to persuade our audience to act. And there are lots of different ways we can do this. We can use statistics, the results of studies. We can share our personal experience. We can present expert feedback or opinion, we can provide an emotional plea, or we can appeal to the audience's sense of logic or practicality. So what type of evidence do you think is most powerful? Well, I think statistics and studies, those are always really powerful, as is expert feedback or opinion. Personal experience can be, but remember, this isn't about you. This is about the audience. So your personal experience might be very different from their personal experience. Similar with emotional pleas. Sometimes they can work, but very often I think they need to be supported with statistics and the results of studies. And logic is always good, but again, we want to make sure that we're supporting this with some type of evidence, some type of strong evidence. So statistics and studies tend to be the best. When we're presenting our evidence, we can use a variety of language, such as based on, this suggests, if one considers, this clearly shows, this evidence shows, it's certain that, this highlights, and according to. So let's get some practice with this. The study by Smith blank the benefit of requiring art classes for young students clearly shows. Or I could say, based on the study by Smith, we can see the benefit of requiring art classes for young students. The next one, recycling programs saved the town of Springfield $50,000 in waste management costs. This highlights the need for more of these programs. And now Doe is a name, so according to Doe, the cost savings from recycling are tremendous. So let's quickly review counterarguments. Why do you think it's important to recognize counterarguments in persuasive essays? Remember, counterarguments show our audience that we've taken the time to think about all sides of the issue, not just the side that we're arguing. It also gives us the opportunity to weaken any opposing point of view. This adds to your position, and it helps to make it more likely that your audience will act. Language for presenting counterarguments can be varied. We can say things like opponents argue, claim, or believe. The author or Riley suggests, argues, states, or claims. It's been suggested and it's been argued, or it might seem or it might appear. Okay? First, we need to present that counterargument, then we can refute it. So we talked about refutations in our previous lesson. So let's talk about statements of concession. What exactly do you think a statement of concession is? When we concede something, we agree that a point is correct or valid. So a concession statement is a brief statement that a counterargument seems logical, at least on the surface. So we can use language such as, while this seems quite logical, on the surface, this seems to make sense. While this argument seems rational at first, while it's true that. So what do you think should come after the statement of concession? Of course, the refutation, right? We don't want to concede this point. We want to say that it could be true. It seems like a good idea, but we're going to include language that shows this is not correct. And this is where our refutation comes in. And we've got language for refutations, however, while, although, or on the contrary. And we've covered this in our previous lesson. When we use language like however and on the contrary, we split the counterargument and the refutation up into two sentences. And when we use language like while or although, we are combining the counterargument and the refutation into two separate sentences. Okay, let's take a look at these three counter arguments. And these are counter arguments that we're going to fit into our first model essay. The first one says, students already have packed schedules, making it difficult to find time to exercise. The second says, exercise alone cannot replace professional treatment for severe anxiety disorders. And the third says, depressed individuals often lack motivation for physical activity. Where could you possibly include them in the model essay? How would you present them? How could you make a concession statement? And how could you refute them? So let's go ahead and look at the first one. Students already have packed schedules, making it difficult to find time to exercise. I'm going to put this in my first paragraph, but I need to find a good spot for it. Okay, so I'm going to go over this first paragraph. To begin with, exercise is an excellent way to combat stress. When people engage in physical activity, their bodies release endorphins, often referred to as feel-good hormones. These endorphins act as a natural stress reliever, reducing tension and promoting a sense of relaxation. Whether it's a brisk walk, a yoga session, or a game of tennis, physical movement can significantly alleviate the pressures of daily life. Additionally, exercise provides a healthy distraction from the sources of stress. While focused on a workout, a person's mind temporarily shifts away from their worries, allowing them to return to their tasks with a clearer, more positive mindset. So I would say, while some argue, students already have packed schedules, making it difficult to find time to exercise. This does not have to be a very long period of exercise. And I could fit that in right here. And then I think I've got a great transition, a great segue, because it can be a brisk walk, a yoga session, a game of tennis, or any type of physical movement. So that fits really well right there. Let's go to our next one. Exercise alone cannot replace professional treatment for severe anxiety disorders. Further, exercise is a powerful tool for managing anxiety. Regular physical activity helps regulate the production of neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine, which are closely linked to mood and anxiety. By increasing the availability of these neurotransmitters, exercise can reduce the feelings of anxiety and improve overall mental well-being. Moreover, exercise offers a sense of accomplishment and boosts self-esteem. When students set and achieve fitness goals, their confidence grows and they become better equipped to handle the challenges that anxiety may throw your way. So I would say, I would refute this by saying, not all people suffer from severe anxiety disorders. Some anxiety disorders are mild. And by increasing the availability of these neurotransmitters, exercise can reduce feelings of anxiety. Okay, I think that fits really well right there. Let's look at the last one. Depressed individuals often lack motivation for physical activity. Finally, exercise has been shown to alleviate symptoms of depression. It stimulates the release of endorphins, which can improve mood, combat feelings of sadness. Furthermore, the social aspect of group exercise or team sports can foster a sense of belonging and support, reducing the isolation often associated with depression. Exercise can serve as a daily anchor, providing structure and purpose to students' day, which is particularly beneficial when combating the lethargy and loss of interest that often accompany depression. Okay, so here I would say, I think right here, okay, would be perfect. Depressed individuals often lack the motivation for physical activity. And I would combat that by saying, which is exactly why they need to engage in exercise to prevent it from becoming worse. And then it transitions nicely to the social aspect of exercise. So I think those fit really well right there. Okay, some other language that you can use for counter arguments and refutations. Well, some people argue this is a weak position because. Although some believe this is actually not the case, some mistakenly feel that, yet they are incorrect because. So let's practice. You can say, well, some people feel that sugary drinks are safe in moderation. This is a weak position because studies have directly linked them to high blood pressure. Many people feel strict voter laws will disenfranchise poor people, yet they're incorrect because this portion of the population hardly votes anyway. Although some people believe mandatory school sport will improve students' physical health, they are mistaken. Balancing study commitments with sports practice will lead to less time to play outdoors with friends. So when you're presenting counter arguments, there's no perfect way to do this, and there are a variety of approaches you can take. Here is the first one. You can present all the counter arguments in the first paragraph, and then you can refute them or present reasons why they're invalid. Then you can present your main points. You can present 1, 2. If you want to present a third, you can add an additional body paragraph. However, this is less cohesive. A more cohesive approach would be to address each counter argument in the main body paragraph that it relates to. Use the approach that's easiest for you, though I do recommend the approach on the right. Finally, we said that a persuasive essay should call the audience to act. So you want to use language that helps your audience know you're asking them to take action. You can say, the time is now. Make a difference by. Act today by. And you can also use different modal verbs. Remember, modal verbs have varying levels of strength. You can use words like should, must, have to, or ought to. You can say, act today by contacting your local lawmaker and demanding that smoking be banned in all public buildings. Okay, so now let's work through brainstorming our ideas for a persuasive essay. Okay, look at these different topics, and I want you to choose one that you're going to write on. Should company CEOs have their salary limited? Should rich people pay higher taxes than poor people? Should students be forbidden from going to co-ed schools? Or should smoking be outlawed across the nation? So what I want you to do is think about the topic that you chose and your opinion on this topic. Okay, so we're going to start there. And what action would you ultimately like your audience to take? Don't worry so much about reasons and evidence. We're going to come back to that. So I want you to use this graphic organizer to complete the topic, your opinion, and the call to action. Now we're going to talk about our reasons and our evidence. So think of 3 reasons why you feel this way. What evidence supports these 3 reasons? What counter arguments might the other side present? And how can you refute or rebut those counter arguments? Okay, so remember, you can structure this any way you like, but I think this is the best way when you're drafting your essay to present each main point in its own body paragraph and to present counter arguments and refutations in the same body paragraph. You can use a template like this to help you, though you don't have to. And I know that there's not a lot of room here, but this is just to help you organize your writing. And then finally, once you've written your essay, I want you to use this peer review of writing template. You can work together with a classmate. If you don't have someone to help you, you can use this checklist on your own. It's a great way to check that your writing has all the required rhetorical features of a good persuasive essay. Okay, great job. So you're ready to draft your persuasive essay. Please remember to like, subscribe, and comment on my video, and I will see you in our next English for Academic Purposes course. Bye, everyone.